depth of which one sees is what one will create. It is what one will fulfill by their own journey. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that we all come through this life. We're born, we go through what we go through, and we join into this community that is the world, that is the human experience. And we learn our own experiences. We learn everything based on what we go through. Some go through more than others from a young age, but we all go through something. Even if you're living in the biggest house with the richest parents, we create, our issues are manifest in one way, shape, form, or other. You cannot avoid problems. You cannot avoid challenge, and you shouldn't want to, because challenge and adversity show us who we are. That's a different video, though. When I say the level of depth of which we know is what we will fulfill, what I mean is that until we see how much life we truly can have, until we see the level at which something can exist and operate, how could we possibly fulfill that? How could we possibly create something like that? Right? Only by luck if we don't understand. So, to be able to get to these different levels, to have this different level of depth, we must increase our surroundings. We must better our knowledge on a topic. We must see it from a different angle. Right? I mean, that's what depth is on a third dimensional kind of basis, right? And then you go fourth dimensional, fifth dimension, it gets even more wild. Right? That's another topic, again, but it plays into it. Until you see it from different angles, until you see something on a different side, you may not know the depth whatsoever. Right? Let's think about when we're kids, when we're children, when we're growing up. I know I struggle with seeing the depth in many things, to which it caused me pain in my own way, right? Like just on the basis of thinking, such as being anxious in school, being anxious in speaking and communication. I've told you before, I grew up this kid playing a lot of video games, not growing up around kids, so I was, didn't have a ton of social interactions, right? I talked with adults that were friends of my parents or family more than anything, which that helped in certain ways, but it wasn't like a daily thing, or it wasn't like a thing that was took to the extreme where I was really good at talking to adults by any means, for sure. So I struggled with communication, and I was scared of it. I was scared to be very communicative in public, in school, and talking to different people. Like it made me feel some type of way. And so I avoided it most of the time. I was very inexperienced, and I knew I was very inexperienced. And this carried on with me into my teenage years for a while, until I got more social, until I got in more situations like that, right? But it was my lack of experience and my inability to see the depth of which communication had and could have for me that prevented me from seeing it rightly. And it also, I only fulfilled the small level of depth that I did know, right? I knew how to communicate with my mom. I knew how to communicate with the friends I had. But outside of that, I was, pretty lackluster, right? So I was unable to fulfill a deeper level of depth, right? Have you ever experienced something like this? Have you ever gotten onto the other side of something and realized, wow, I could have had all of this from the beginning, or at least started working on it back then. I wish I would have known what I know now then. That's what we're talking about. That we're talking about the level of experience, the level of depth that certain situations have for us, for the world. So we must be able to see these things. We must be able, when we go into new situations, it helps to fully involve our brain and our consciousness on things in those situations. Meaning, go study people who are in the field. Go talk to people who are in the field. Go read books. Go to events. Like, on whatever it is you're trying to learn about. Basically, ingest more information on it. To be able to see the different areas of it. To be able to understand the depth of whatever it is you're getting into. Because again, what happens if you don't? Well, you're going into it maybe closed-minded, where you think it's only going to work one way and there's no other way to do it, which leads to a lot of people giving up. Right? Have you ever seen someone who they try to start something new and they have maybe a ton of experience in something else, but part of them having this experience has also caused them to be closed-minded when they go into new things. So now they're going into this new situation where they're inexperienced and they're getting mad. They're getting frustrated because they don't know how to get started. They don't know the different understandings of this new situation. Right? It's part of leadership and being extremely mature is being able to accept that you don't know everything whatsoever. And there are people who are much better at things than you are. So listen to them, understand them, try and do as best as you can to learn from them. But I know we've all seen it before. People who are highly experienced in something else, they go into something completely unfamiliar and their egos not allowing them to be completely straight. Their egos causing them to get frustrated because they don't know what to do exactly, right? They don't understand the depth of which the different situation has. And they only know their own depth from their own situation. Right? I know I've done that before. You get frustrated. You get thrown off. You're worried about what everybody else thinks. It doesn't help anything. Have you seen this happen in your life? Has it been a situation where you think you know it all? You think you're there's nothing that can throw you off in a different endeavor, but it sure does. I know it has for me. So, I hope you gained something from this today. It's kind of a shorter video, but I wanted to get it out. I wanted to talk about this subject. If there's something that made sense or made you think of something else, let me know below. Comment on it. Let's see what you got. Let's hear about it. If you liked it, like it, share it with somebody who could use it possibly. Subscribe, of course, and let's just keep doing the darn thing, man. Let's just be who we're supposed to be and live a life of our own choosing. Because we should, because we can, because the world and the universe and our family and ourselves deserve it. You got this, guys. Let's go get them.